All right, guys, welcome to the second installment of Late Night TCG. You know, I always appreciate how you try to time it with me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I do my best to sync it. It's not the easiest, that's for sure, guys.
All right, guys, so today's topic is actually super interesting, and it's I feel like it's something that's like in everyone's mind.
Right. If you are like someone who, watches content, but then also wants to, now transition from someone who watches content to creating content and what that kind of entails, it's definitely like you definitely want to be here for it.
Yeah. But before we get into the bulk of it, make sure to go subscribe to PAK's YouTube channel. It'll be the first link in the description box down below. All right, make sure you subscribe to him because the next episode, the sequel, will be uploaded on his channel.
Right, and if you aren't already subscribed to Susu and Head-to-Head Battles, please do so because the next episode or like the next third installment of Late Night TCG will might be on my channel, might be on his. So like I said, we're gonna keep you guys on your toes. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and stay tuned every weekend because this is a weekly series that we're doing.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, bro. Yeah. Oh my God! Don't ever say we don't do nothing for you guys.
Right.
All right. So as tradition. We have to tell you that PAK also streams on Twitch. What do you stream on Twitch, bro?
All right, so I stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. Okay, honestly, guys, I just stream whenever the hell I feel like it. All right. But yeah, and Susu, when do you stream?
Right, so we stream every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 p.m. EST. Be there, or be someone who's not there.
That's actually very philosophical.
It is. All right. And as for tradition, whenever we start this podcast, we always need a nice, tall, sexy man of a drink in our mouth. So,
all right, you're gonna do the honors.
I will do the honors. All right.
The first pour. Oh.
Sumimasen.
Oh yeah. That's a nice, warm brown pour. And we're gonna do the same. Oh.
Okay. So as we clickety clang, let's roll the intro.
Yeah, that was honestly, I'm getting more used to it. It's actually kind of nice.
Wow. I'm definitely not. I'm leaving all this in for sure.
I'm editing the first video, yo. Okay.
And we're back. All right, guys. So let's get right into it, right?
Yep.
So, PAK, what is it that you do for a job? Like, what is your daily living?
So what I do for a living is I am a financial analyst at a Fortune 50 corporation. I don't want to leak the sauce, but I work as a financial analyst, which means like I deal like on a day-to-day basis with kind of money, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
Like what keeps the business afloat, trying to understand where the cash flow is coming from.
Wow.
Generating the revenue, but also just working on trying to figure out ways to innovate. Because the reason why they hire new people like me is to come in and change the way things are being built. So for example, we have certain Excel models or certain ways of looking at things, and the idea is that we come in, take it for a change and then give a new fresh perspective. And I like the fact that I guess my current job challenges me to do that, and actually lets me do that without feeling that I'm disrupting the way that business is conducted.
Wow. So from what I gather, you're good with numbers.
Yeah, funny enough, I barely took any math.
Yeah, so. and oddly enough, as you guys, some of you guys may know that I was a registered nurse.
Right.
I mean, I still am a registered nurse in the state of New Jersey, and I also have 2 licenses in personal training and just other medical things.
Right.
And I took up to Calculus 3.
Yeah.
So granted, I know everyone in the comment section's like, this dude is all brawn, no brain. Yeah, I have 2 degrees and 2 licenses. I don't know, man,
Yeah, and that's so funny because there's more to people than meets the eye for sure. Because I don't know, when you look at me, like, you don't imagine me as like the stereotypical like finance person, you know, like behind the scene crunching numbers, you know, working on Excel models and data and etc. And you know, I think that's the cool part about it. You know, Susu and I, we both have and come from very different backgrounds. We both have very different experience, but we're at the same time, what we do have in similarity is that we both create Yu-Gi-Oh content. And much more eventually soon, but we both have like a passion for Yu-Gi-Oh and somehow got into this game.
Yeah, like it's really funny because generally speaking, like content creators aren't that close.
Right.
But we ended up being like sub 15 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
And then at the time we were like, and we still are like very close in subs. Like everything about this is perfect. Right.
And that's just let that sink in, because it is kind of like fortuitous almost, right? Almost as a sign from like, you know, whatever your beliefs are, like from the heavens, from like, if you're like into like astronomy and like the stars and stuff, you know, from like this, it's like a sign, man. It's like a comet came down, and it's one of those. So yeah, things are, you know, in place, and you'll be a fool to like not, you know, go with it.
Right. So I know we're like 4 or 5 minutes in, and you're like, what are we talking about, right? So as you guys may not know, I gave up my full-time job to do this full-time. So creating content full-time because I believed not only in myself, but in the community, right? So like that belief came with like that emotional fortitude and reinforcement, and the fact that yes, I can do this, right? And I don't know if I'm gonna like edit my paid stubs here or not, but so after taxes, I made like just over $100,000. Right. Just over $100,000. Right. As a nurse, working as a nurse and personal trainer, right? Yeah. Because like right out of school, like my first year, I made like $75,000 on the nursing side of things, and I made about $35,000 on the personal training side of things. And then after the year, my nursing got bumped up to like 87, 89. And then, you know, but the personal training was still at 35. So post taxes, I'm like just in the six figures, you know what I'm saying? And like I know a lot of you in the comments are gonna be like, you're insane. Like who does that? Right. And guys, this is like not clickbait, right? Like when we, you know, you see the title of this video, it's like, you know, Susu really did give up like $100,000, you know, a well-paying jobs, you know, to do this full time. And so like what's probably on your minds is like, you know, what motivated you or put you in a position to like take that leap of faith almost? Yeah, so I mean, I don't want to come off as arrogant or like narcissistic, right? But I always felt like I was born to do this. Yeah, like I've always, granted, like I look big, right? And my mom and my dad always said dream big, you know, like you're a big person, not just in physique but in heart as well. And I mean, generally, like, I mean, I'm ugly, right? But my mom's always like, you know, you're hot as hell, you know what I'm saying? But that's what moms do, right? You know what I'm saying? But I think what really stuck with me was that like I've always dreamt of being in front of people. And whether it is in front of real people, with no monitor between us, or, you know, you watching us here, this is what I felt like I was born to do. And I felt good enough to give up a very bougie lifestyle to be here, you know? Right. I guess let's talk about that, right? Like, what are some things that, in terms of lifestyle, that you used to have that you had to give up to make this adjustment to do content creating full time? Yeah, so I had 24-hour concierge. Oh, look at that! And he was actually British, and his name was like very close to Alfred. So yeah, like at 3 a.m, when you order food, he'd be like, "Sir, your DoorDash has arrived," and I'm like, "Send them up, send them up." You know. So you're telling me that you're Batman? I'm Batman. Where is she? That's insane. I mean, like, really, like, think about that, right? Like, there's some aspects of life that, you know, you get to enjoy when you're making a lot of money, but when you give that up, right, it's not just the money you're giving up, but it's the lifestyle, the way you live life, the way you can go about life, right? Because money does play an important role. Absolutely. And I think it's important that we talk about not just like the money that we're giving up, but the way like we used to live, right, and how we live now. Yeah, our comfort levels, right? Because I'll be quite honest with you. When I was working, I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning, go to work. I would come home at 7:30 p.m., right? and then I would work out from 7:30 to 8:30, and then I would see clients until 11 p.m. So by the time I eat dinner and shower and I'm like in my birthday suit, it's 12 in the morning.
Right.
And then if I have back-to-back shifts, I have to be up in 4 hours.
Right.
So like I was miserable.
Yeah.
You know, like I had a lot of money. I drove the nice cars and everything, but I mean, I still have the car, but I still have to go. No, but no, I was miserable, man. Like I couldn't handle it. You know, like, oh my God.
And I guess the question is now, how are you feeling now after, you know, quitting the jobs and like, you know, living a whole new life? Like, are you much happier, first off? And second, like, you know, where do you see this heading?
Right. And I'll be honest with you. And like I mentioned this in the last podcast, but PAK and I, we didn't start this to become like filthy rich, right? Because like, let's be honest, this is like we are in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, right? The Yu-Gi-Oh community in terms of like YouTube population is the worst compared to Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, right? Like Yu-Gi-Oh only has 30 to maybe 45,000 concurrent viewers at a time, which is nothing. Like, to be honest with you, like it's really nothing. Right. You know, like we're not doing this to be rich, right? Like I am happy. Like even if there was no cameras here and it was just PAK and I speaking el mano y mano, I'd be like, you know, PAK, I'm really happy right now.
I mean, I let that sink in, right? Because I think that is really important. Like he said, I am really happy right now. And that, you know, struck, I guess, something with me, because I think that's what people, you know, sometimes forget, especially as we like, you know, go about the pursuit of happiness in life. And like, and it turns out to be more like the pursuit of like, you know, making as much money as possible. And you kind of like lose yourself in the process, as Eminem would say it. But no, like seriously though, I think like it's important to sometimes take a step back.
Oh yeah.
You know,
reevaluate.
Reevaluate, realign your passions. Ask yourself, you know, is what I'm doing right now what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Whew.
And if the answer is no, then something has to change.
Right. I mean, oh man, like I know like our podcasts are centered and catered to trading card games, right? But as content creators, sometimes we need to come out and say things. And I feel like this podcast is a good outlet, you know, because like our audience is very wholesome. Like our PAK's community and HeadtoHead's community in our space is very wholesome. Like we don't have any trolls. We don't have haters. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at the same time, where do we draw the line in terms of like, yes, if I had more money, I could buy more cards. Granted, right? Because you make a decent amount of money.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I do, yeah.
And your binder you could technically do a down payment on a house with that binder. Yes.
Yeah.
A small house.
I could.
A small house.
And that'll actually be covered in the next you know, installment. So stay tuned for the third installment of Late Night TCG, where we kind of like talk about that from an investing perspective within trading card games, right? How do we, you know, sustain ourselves and make money while playing a children's card game? Yeah, you'll be surprised with the answer. Trust.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So guys, yeah, stay tuned for that third installment. I guess, Susus, I have a question for you.
Hit me with it.
What advice would you have for someone looking to start, you know, content creating, but they're working full time? Like, when can they?
You're asking me for advice. This is you asking me for advice.
Hey, I'm asking for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So.
All right. Well, so I used to pay $3,500 in rent.
Right.
And that's absurd.
No, that's a lot of money.
Okay, that's absurd, okay? But at the same time, like, I made enough money where I could save a lot of money.
Right.
And when I started this channel, I dumped maybe close to $15,000 on cameras, audio equipment, computers, cards, furniture, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
And that's why, like, our channel, the Head-to-Head Battles channel, did really well, like, from inception, strictly due to the fact that the production quality was higher than most other YouTubing channels.
Right.
So when our videos get recommended and someone sees that video, they're like, oh my God, like the thumbnail is dope, let me click it, right? And then all of a sudden they click the video, they're like, oh my God, 4K videos, right? The light, like PAK, like I know, so no one else can see this. Like we have studio lights.
Right.
We have 3 cameras in front of us.
Right.
Like if we cut this room in half, that half of the room is like in itself probably close to like $8,000.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's what, is different than what, people are typically doing. And it's a way to help you stand out, right? Especially if you've been watching, content creators in like the Yu-Gi-Oh space, Magic the Gathering space, etc.
Yeah.
Like you can see that the quality of production, not by their fault, but there's no standard that's being set for what quality should look like.
God, yeah.
But I think what, Susu, Head-to-Head Battles, Gen, like what they're trying to accomplish or show, I guess from what I've seen, is that you guys are essentially saying that, when you start this channel, there was a plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the execution came.
Yep.
And they did. Right?
Exactly.
And I think that's what's really important because, Suzu has been working, $100,000 paying jobs, right? For a couple of years?
Yeah, 3.5 years, yeah.
3.5 years. He saved up money to buy all this equipment because he knows that from the get-go, we're going to have the first video, insane.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, when you say oh, I gave up, I stopped working to do this, right?
Right.
There is no level of oh, you didn't give up enough to do this, right? That doesn't exist. You sacrifice something to do something else, right? In that sense, the level of money that goes into your channel shouldn't matter, but in terms of production quality and what people are seeing, it does matter. It does.
Right. Because I can talk about what I gave up, right? So, after I usually finish work, right, around 6, 7 p.m. ish, I would, play video games. I would watch anime. I would relax, right? But now instead of getting that same downtime that I'm used to, I now put that in the times, formulating, thinking about content, because that's your brain becomes almost wired in that sense, right?
Yeah.
That you're always on this content creation, and sometimes it does get exhausting, and that's how a lot of people get burnt out.
Yeah.
So we always try to find that nice balance. For example, Friday, which is yesterday. Essentially, what we did was we did non-Yu-Gi-Oh related stuff. We
just played games, bro.
We just played different games, played Valorant, we played CS:GO, we played League of Legends, exploring other things that make us happy. And it's not this this is stressful. I mean, it is.
It is
because but it's kind of just take a step back, take a breather, and don't forget the purpose and the goal behind it all.
Right. One of the most interesting things was when PAK said, "This is the reason I reached out to you," right? So if I remember verbatim, it said the content was really good, the production quality was really high,
right,
and you were consistent.
Yeah.
And that really struck a chord with me because I made it a mission to put out a video every 2 days, no matter what.
Right.
No matter what. And PAK currently in the last 3 months, you've been grinding. You almost had a video every day.
Right. Yeah. I was putting out videos, every other day, every day, just because I realized that especially as smaller channels, is that consistent upload is key because people when they watch one video and you're not as as popular or as within the community for a long time, they kind of just forget about you, right? So and at the same time, I'm not saying put out as much content as possible and have it lackluster in content, right? At the same time, you have to also make sure it's quality is something people can get value out of, that they walk away saying okay, I learned something. At least that's the goal of my channel, that every video I hope someone comes out saying I learned something, and even if they don't, at least they got to see my thought process, even if they agree or don't disagree, because even disagreements leads to some sort of learning.
Exactly. And it's really funny because when I think about it, I'm when people watch our videos,
right,
I just want you to have a good time.
Exactly.
I'm not teaching you nothing. I gotta be good to teach you something.
Right.
I'm not teaching you jack nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just watch me eat this and be in pain and laugh at my pain. Shout out to Kevin Hart if you're watching this.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's what's really neat about, because the content creating space, right? It's not just limited to pack openings or historically, because when people think of Yu-Gi-Oh content, that's what a lot of people associate with pack openings, ban list prediction videos, just deck profiles, which I do too, but it's there's so much you can do. And I think head-to-head battles kind of showcases that, right? That there's more to content creating and than just those type of videos,
right?
And we can really expand this area.
So one of the biggest reasons why I do try my best to be friends with PAK is this reason, right? As content creators, you have 1,000 more subs than we do currently, right?
Right.
But at the same time, like, you're here, you know?
Right.
And here's the thing, right? Like, no cap. Oh, is it on cap or no cap?
No, please say no cap. On cap is not a thing.
All right, so on cap, right? No, PAK really, like, he'll message me like 2 a.m, like he'll ask me about like camera questions, like
Right.
editing questions,
Right.
and I'm just like, yo, this man, right? This burly man sitting to my left, like, can contact me and ask me to help him better his production. I'm like, yo, let me do the most I can. Like,
Right.
like just thinking about it is giving me goosebumps. I'm like,
Right.
damn, bro, that's respect going and coming.
Right. And I think what's important is, you know, like, as you watch my channel, you realize it's a lot of like learning, but I apply that to like my everyday life.
Yeah.
And, you know, just content creating itself, right? Because I think you have to understand that, you know, when you first start out, you're not going to make the best video. You know, there's going to be things you can always improve on. And, you know, we're our own worst critics for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a thing to be your own worst critic and not do anything about it.
Correct.
And so when I sat there, I looked at my videos and I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do this a little better. You know, maybe the quality could be a little better. I decided to like take action and then do something about it. And it's like being humble, especially knowing that someone objectively is just better at you in certain areas.
Correct.
And so you have to go to them and ask, you know, for help. And I think a lot of people don't do that. And
They don't.
And the thing is, you have to be open-minded enough. Like, even if Susu tells me like, you know, XYZ and it could be the wrong thing, do your research to see if it's right or not. Because when Susu told me about like, you know, like, hey, you should get this microphone, you know, I took the time
Yep.
and watched like so many videos, read so much Reddit posts, and so many forums, and I was like, you know, what he's saying is true.
Yeah, we drew the same conclusion.
We came to the same conclusion. And, you know, so it's like, I guess to like sum it all up, it's like, listen to what other people have to say, ask for advice, and then don't take it for granted. Also do your own research to back it up.
Absolutely. And that last bit is really important. And so, like, that kind of like spins it all back to like, why did I feel okay giving up $100,000 for this, right?
Right.
Because I did the research, right? Like, I studied the YouTube algorithm. I understood what could come out of it and what the best way was to make as much revenue as possible, right? Because at the end of the day, money, you need money to live. You
Right.
need money to live. And granted, like, there is money coming in from Twitch and YouTube, right? Because like on YouTube, at 5,000 subs, at 5,000 views a video,
Right.
which I mean, that's not normal for us. That's like a good video
That's
for
like
us.
a good video, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're getting maybe $20, right?
$20.
And like we can just say this. What is there to hide? You know?
Right.
What is there to hide? Like, we're being transparent with you, right? And on Twitch, you know the Twitch ad revenue. Do you know why it doesn't add into your monthly payout?
Why?
Because it's under $10.
Yeah, no, it's I wish we could show you guys this, but literally the Twitch ad revenue is pennies. I'm saying pennies. You need like at least 1,000+ viewers concurrently that are not subscribers.
Yep.
That you know, and you're running ads like every 10-30 minutes, whatever.
Yep. And it's crazy because like, in terms of right now, at 4.5K subs, doing Twitch and YouTube and operating a TCG player store, man, we're probably making like $600 a month, right?
Yeah.
And that's a far cry from what I used to make a month. Because if you do $120,000 divided by what, 52?
Just say like 12 months, so that'll be like $10,000 a month divided by 2, which is like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so 5,000 bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly 5,000, yeah.
So okay, so off of YouTube and Twitch, I'm making $600, right? That we're talking $10,000 a month,
right,
to $600 a month.
Right.
So I mean, a lot of you in the comment section are probably asking, like, dude, you're so dumb, bro. You're like what the hell?
Yeah, right.
But
right.
I completely understand what you're saying. But you know, it's always the grass is always greener effect. Right. When you have the money and you see someone with free time, yo, you fiend for that free time.
Right.
Like you the level of envy that you feel when you see someone with free time, and that's why people don't like giving to the poor, right?
Right.
Because they're like, what? They have all this free time.
Right.
But then it's like, bro, like we're in different circumstances.
Yep.
You know, and then the people who don't make $10,000 a month are like, bro, if I made $10,000 a month, I'd be driving that car, living in that house, dating this girl. And
that's a really good point, because you can like for example, let's say you're making $50,000 right now, you can be making $60,000, and I guarantee you your happiness is not going to go up.
Not even close.
Not even close. And I think that's like the fallacy of like this quote unquote American dream, right?
Yo.
Where like the idea is that, you're going to keep on climbing, keep on making a lot more money, but at the same time is that if you were to draw a graph of like the money you make and your happiness, it's not directly correlated.
Not even close. And that's something you who wants to be a content creator needs to realize is that, listen, if you are working full time, and you'll see the other end of the spectrum on this.
Right.
But when you're working full time, you need to understand like you have limited time in your day to accomplish things, right?
Yeah.
And for you to edit a 10-minute video will take you minimum 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much effort you do put into your editing, right?
Yes.
And on top of that, you have to film.
Yes.
Right. So for one 10-minute video, you're allotting 5 hours of time in your day, and you're already working minimum 8 hours. So that's 13 hours in the day.
Yep.
You need to sleep a healthy 8 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. That is what, 21 hours in the day.
Yeah.
So that means you have 3 hours to yourself. An hour and a half of that is spent eating.
Yeah.
So you have an hour and a half to yourself.
Yep.
Now with bathroom breaks and showers, you're down to
That's
zero.
basically it.
You have no time.
And that's definitely the thing too, to like note that it's not easy to do this for sure. And so like, I'm not saying for anyone watching this to just, quit their jobs tomorrow and decide
disclaimer.
to enter like, the YouTube space.
Yeah.
It's, I would say come in with a plan and execute. I think the thing is a lot of people have really good ideas. And
Oh yeah.
But I think what they're lacking is in execution. They don't go out there and actually do what they want to do, or there's some hesitation. I think comes a part where you almost have to take that leap of faith, that jump
On yourself. Yeah.
and perform. And then it may not do well. It may do really well. But at the end of the day is that, you know that you tried. And I'm not saying you go out there and put out like, scuff content, and like, etc. It's more of like, take the time to make sure that, that first YouTube video you put out is like just insane. Because people, when they first see and that's the only thing in your channel, that sets a precedent, right? For future videos to come.
Yep.
And until you're constantly improving, right? Like people don't stay or like people don't come back.
Exactly.
And I think that's like the most important part about it, right? And I mean, you guys have both seen, at least like from my end, because my journey was more of like, I was slowly upgrading my equipment, as like time came. So like that'll be like a whole nother topic, but you get to see that like, I started at X, but I'm getting like, I'm constantly keeping to like, improve, like make better quality content,
Exactly.
better editing, learning. And that's the whole process of it. And so I'm not saying like you just start out and, you have to be amazing. You can still be like a little bit, not the greatest, but just keep working on your craft.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are getting to about that time, all right, where we need to call it a day and make sure you guys are here to watch episode 2. So to give you a little bit of incentive, all right, at the end, middle, or maybe the end middle or the end early of the next video, there's going to be a giveaway.
It's going to be a crazy giveaway.
All right, guys. And as always, if these videos get 500 likes in 5 days, we'll be giving away a booster box of the most recent set, period.
Right.
So that is also important, all right? So I just want to wrap things up here, right? You guys kind of heard my side of the story, like me giving up $100,000 a year,
right.
But now I think in the next episode, and because the next one is going on PAK's channel, I think it'd be a good idea to kind of figure out exactly where you came from and, where your character development was.
Right. And I guess in the next, the sequel, you'll get to learn more about me, first of all, like who's working full time.
Yep.
Like, a heavy, like a lot of hours, like a heavy role, but still putting out content and content creating. And right now I'm like a one-man team. Like I do everything pretty much by myself, like the thumbnail, like the editing, etc.
Yep.
And how I'm able to do it and stay sane.
So make sure you're here, man. Like be here for the next one. And if you would like to support us, all you have to do is just subscribe, like, and comment to both our channels, and just come hang out with us in our Discords. Like we'll have everything in the description box down below.
Exactly.
All right, guys. So I don't want to bore you for the rest of this. So I will catch you in the sequel.
See you soon.
Freaking love you guys.